Well, hi there, good evening. Welcome to the broadcast, 4th day of July 2024. Now, in the United States, they're celebrating Independence Day. Did you know that the United States gained independence in 1776? That was 187 years before Kenya gained its independence in 1963. And so, in the US, it's a holiday as they celebrate Independence Day. But back here home in the country, we've got quite a lot in store for you tonight. Not a happy evening for some of the families who unfortunately lost their loved ones to the protests. Also, the cabinet held its first meeting since the demonstrations kicked off, as they are brought up to speed on what is happening in the country in terms of the security. Well, aside from that, we've got much more lined up for you tonight, but let's take a look at stories making headlines.
It was so painful seeing him lifeless. Knowing well it would have been me, it would have been one of my friends, it would have been one of us who is here. We were all in town, I believe so. He took a bullet. And he took a bullet for all of us.
Loss for a family. Victim of protests shooting, Rex Kanyike Masai, mourned by family and friends as he is set to be buried. President William Ruto chairs first cabinet meeting since the demonstrations kicked off. Cabinet is briefed on the security situation in the country. Businessmen condemn looting witnessed during the demonstrations, even as police brutality is put on the spot.
You're in safe pair of hands. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Let me bring you up to speed on what is making headlines across the country. Now, just news coming into our newsrooms this evening is that President William Ruto will be on an X space, that's an X platform, where he will be engaging with the youths. That is on Friday, July 5th from 2 to 5 p.m. And so we're expecting President William Ruto will be engaging on an X space. That is a platform that is used by the youths to engage from 2 to 5 p.m. Now, family and friends of Rex Kanyike, the 29-year-old man whose life was suddenly cut short by a bullet during the anti-finance bill protests, are yet to come to terms with his tragic demise. Rex Kanyike Masai was the first life lost at the start of the demonstrations on 20th of June 2024 after being shot by police at about 7 p.m. in the evening. The family of the late Rex Masai have called on the public to not relinquish the search for justice for their fallen son, even as they reminisced on his lifetimes.
Rex, the strength of my youth, my first feeling as a mother, my first sleep-away taker, but it was for joy. I remember my first feeling breastfeeding you. You were my bundle of joy. I remember our first milestones. Tembea Baba, Tembea. And you're looking back at me smiling. Rex, my first patient. You turned my fingers into a thermometer. I used to measure your temperature with my fingers. You taught me to be a teacher. You taught me to be a lawyer, stepping in when you're hurt by anyone. Here you are, teaching me how to live without you.
On arrival to town, I saw my brother Rex laying on his blood. It was so painful seeing him lifeless. Knowing well it would have been me, it would have been one of my friends, it would have been one of us who is here. We were all in town, I believe so. But when Rex stood behind, helping the people who were with him on that street to run away, he took a bullet. And he took a bullet for all of us.
Sana kusikia kupigiwa simu at Rex ameshutiwa town. Wana wa Mungu, ni uchungu. Sijui vile watoto wangu wataishi kwa hiyo nyumba juu ya Rex, kwa sababu alikuwa anawapea advice. Saa zingine wakikosana Rex anaweka pamoja. Sasa ile kitu ninaomba tu mtatuweka kwa maombi ili hata Rex akienda. Tutamiss sana Rex, nitakumiss baba. Lala salama Rex.
Now, indeed, we do condole with the families that have lost their loved ones, and we empathize, and may their souls rest in peace. Now, a cabinet meeting was on Thursday held at State House in Nairobi, which was chaired by President William Ruto, and was informed that though the riots started as a protest against the tax measures proposed in the Finance Bill 2024, they were infiltrated, hijacked, and taken over by criminal and opportunistic political forces. Due to the threat posed to Parliament, the Supreme Court, and other infrastructure, the Cabinet was informed that all national security agencies, including the military, were deployed to forestall the breakdown of law and order. The Cabinet was also informed that the security agencies have stabilized the situation and are continuing to monitor the developments. The President said the government must now focus on charting a new future for the country, pointing out that significant changes must be made to align with that new future. For the second day running, senators debated the State of the Nation motion filed by the Majority Leader Aaron Cheruiyot, voicing the sentiments over the anti-finance and anti-government protests witnessed in the country. The senators have demanded for an explanation from the Inspector General of Police, Japheth Koome, over the deaths reported due to the alleged police brutality in the country that saw 41 people dead.
Parliament, the judiciary and county governments working with the National Treasury also undertake budget cuts. This clearly shows, Speaker, that the President knows exactly what he needs to do and precisely what he needs to focus on. Get rid of corruption, get rid of wastage, get rid of breaching court orders, get rid of misdirective and duplicative pots of money like CDF, which completely usurp the true function of a legislator. Speaker, members of Parliament are supposed to legislate and ministries are supposed to implement. No parliamentarian should have a CDF allocation because our role is simple: to represent, to oversight, and legislate. We have no business building markets and roads and hospitals. Get rid of CDF that bastardizes the role of a member of Parliament. We also want a repeal of other unconstitutional legislations since this government came into power. And we want leaders to be leaders, Speaker, not leaders to be dealers.
Mr. Speaker, my heart sank when I confronted one CEO of a certain institution in this nation. And when I asked her, why do you have only 2 tribes getting the big chunk of positions in this institution? She told me, sometimes, madam, we are under instructions. We are asked, when you do your employment or recruitment, you should know where the government belongs. Very sad.
These have spoken, and they had a right under Section 37 of our Constitution that guarantees any citizen the right to demonstrate and express themselves through demos, Madam Speaker, as long as they are unarmed. And so we want to say the Generation Z were perfectly within their right under the Constitution, and we know they were not armed. Madam Speaker, we must also take this opportunity to separate chaff from wheat, Madam Speaker, because, of course, we know that these demos have been infiltrated by criminals, Madam Speaker, whom we must see to it, especially as police officers. The police officers should see to it that action is taken against criminals that infiltrate genuine demonstrations, Madam Speaker.
Nairobi leaders have condemned the looting experienced in Kenyan streets, especially in major cities, stating that the initial peaceful Gen Z demonstrations have escalated and taken over by looters who are burning and destroying property. They stressed that it's time for Gen Z to stop the looters and give the president a chance to address their grievances and allow the country to rebuild. They have also urged the head of state to consider supporting families who lost their loved ones as part of the healing process.
Hivi kama wa Kenya, tafadhalini wacheni na mali. Nilikuwa na ndugu yangu mwingine alikuwa kwa maandamano, alikuwa yatima, amefunguliwa duka, ameibiwa hiyo duka. Sasa ule mtu umezidi kumuacha maskini ama umempatia nini maendeleo? Tuwasema wacheni kuvunja duka za watu. Wacha wale watu wa Gen Z ambao walikuwa na agenda mzuri ya kuandamana. Hata Samoyo Ruto, William President, alisema andamana. Usivunje mali ya mtu, polisi usiue mtu, hata KDF akatoa. Sasa wewe wavunja nyumba ya mtu ya nini?
We ask the president, as he will be making the necessary changes, to please consider the youth in different appointments, as they have modern skills and ideas on how things can be done to serve the people of this nation in a better way. His Excellency, we know you have mercy, but don't have mercy on the people who are misleading you and the people who are lazing around on jobs, people who are sleeping on jobs. Sack. Show your power. Dismiss them today, His Excellency. Put there people who will help this country for once and for all.
Your Excellency, hawa vijana si watoto wabaya, ni vijana wale ambao umelea na vijana wale ambao walikuwa wanazunguka wakifuata gari zako mbio. Sasa ni time yako ya kuimplement. Wale mawaziri wamekuzunguka hapo na wafanye kazi. Your Excellency, futa hawa watu kazi, chukua hata hawa vijana 3 ama 4 waeke kwa hizo ofisi.
Activists have accused rogue police officers of using excessive force during the anti-government protests. Their sentiments come when reports indicate that more than 40 people died during the demonstrations and over 350 others injured, with more than 600 people arrested. The groups who have been pushing for reforms in the police service have also threatened to go to court to push for accountability of those found culpable and those who gave orders to shoot and meet violence on peaceful protesters.
When demonstrations are recorded, or people disengage from the streets and go maybe into other spaces like dialogues and whatever, the question of accountability is never resolved. You remember from even 2007, 2015 demonstration, 2017, 2018, last year between March and July, a lot of atrocities were committed. So basically, what we have been doing, and you will find that in the statement we issued last week, we are going to pursue command responsibility for those who have been issuing these unconstitutional orders to their officers. And we are also going to be pursuing individual accountability for the police officers who also accept to implement these criminal directives, so that in the future we secure what we call guarantee on non-repetition.
We are therefore calling on the government to protect Kenya's civic space and ensure the safety of human rights defenders and organizations. To secondly, instruct law enforcement officers to uphold their duty to protect public order and safety during assemblies and demonstrations as per Article 244 of the Constitution of Kenya. We are also calling on them to ensure accountability for those responsible for the violence and opportunistic crimes seen during the protests, and facilitate open dialogue with citizens.
Tessa North Member of Parliament Oku Kaunya wants the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to conduct a lifestyle audit of leaders who have been seen holding harambes regularly during these hard economic times. The legislator urged the EACC to take action and compel leaders in government to provide statements for the last year if the fight against corruption is to be realistic. His sentiments come amidst countrywide anti-government youth demonstrations over unnecessary expenditure and misappropriation of funds among some government officers.
Kwa harambee inatokana na ile sasa pesa mtu ameiba anataka usambaza huko na huko. Sisi wananchi pesa ikiletwa tutakataa, si tutachukua. Shida sasa na vile jinsi wanasema, na mimi naunga jinsi. Tuulize hii pesa umebeba milioni 20, unaenda kupeana kwa harambee. Ulitoa wapi? Mshahara yako ni 1557 kama mbunge. Wewe mwenyewe una loan umechukua ya kujenga nyumba, umechukua loan ya gari, umechukua nini, na pia una mahitaji yako mwenyewe. Milioni 20 kwa miaka 2 unatoa wapi? Utacontribute kwa harambee moja. Milioni 3, milioni 1, mtu amebeba tu. Imefika kwa wakati wa Kenya lazima waulize viongozi, hii pesa umetoka naye wapi?
The newly elected Kenya Secondary School Heads Association Chair Willy Kuria has vowed to initiate discussions with the government, specifically the Ministry of Education, to ensure that school capitation funds are sent directly to the schools. Kuria criticized the government for delays in capitation, stating that such delays hinder the smooth operation of schools and negatively impacts education. While speaking at Muranga High School during the celebrations, Kuria also highlighted the issue of national examinations being compromised by external factors, which has affected results in certain areas.
One of the issues that we are having is the issue of capitation. And we are urging the government to ensure that with the 22,244 per student is actually reached per year, because currently what is available in schools is roughly 10,400, and this is too little for runners. So we want the entire capitation to be directed to schools so that they can be able to advance education as far as tuition and operations accounts are concerned. The other issue we have is the Kenya National Examination Council. We have done our research and we have established that there is examination cheating in this country year in, year out. And any other time that we seek remedies, remedy is brought, but after some time it does not work. Now we have been looking for a lasting solution, and in our opinion, if we can make Kenya National Examination Council an autonomous body, so that the CEO NEC is empowered by the Katiba, by the Constitution, to run these examinations, give any funds so that he can employ his staff, and then he becomes the only person answerable for the next examinations. We believe he is given that power. If he is given the resources, if he has the necessary staff, and we believe he can be able to manage these exams. Because what is happening now, we believe there is a lot of undue influence, there is a lot of external influence. I want this to come to an end. The junior secondary, CBC, has been domiciled in primary schools. And as heads of this country, secondary school heads, we had proposed, and we still start by this, that this should be shared. Part of the classes should be in primary school and part of classes should be in high school. And we had proposed that the grade 7 be in primary school and then grade 8 and 9 be domiciled in secondary schools. Because we are finding, we have facilities here, we have staff, we have laboratories, and therefore the students will just transit and continue learning.
Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja has asked the Senate Committee on Finance and Budget to summon the leadership of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services NMS to account for 15 billion shillings in pending bills. During his appearance before the committee, Governor Sakaja suggested that the National Government's Executive Office is best suited to update the progress on the bills. There are about 8 pending NMS projects which have not been completed, and the governor noted that the Office of the President will be the one to pay for and complete the projects. NMS was retired President Uhuru Kenyatta's flagship project to upgrade the capital city after years of neglect by previous regimes.
Allow the governor to tell us, because people ask me these questions. No, I know where he lives. There's no problem of garbage there. I know where he lives. So, Chair, allow the governor, please, just for the sake of people of Nairobi, let him explain what is going on in garbage collection.
The government give you the support because there are too many people who have a vested interest on how the garbage is going to be collected in Nairobi, and that is the challenge of God. And I think we need to start talking about these things.
The county is still in the same mess. Apart from pending bill, we still have waste within the city. That is what we are asking as far as the current situation is concerned, for the suppliers being paid. They have used their money to where they are, and they need to get paid.
And the reason why I interjected at that point was Senator Tabitha was then almost shouting about current contractors without disclosing the facts that they are. Now, I am not the registrar of businesses, so I don't know beneficial ownership. But I will tell you, senators and MPs actually push for certain businesses to be paid. You know, that is true. Senators and MPs push for businesses to be paid, contractors to be paid, lawyers to be paid. You know, I will not mention names.
Residents of Bungoma County have been encouraged to give the best directions and training to their children to prevent them from joining terrorist groups. Speaking at a conference that brought together stakeholders in the county, officials from the Champions for Peace organization led by Eric Odhiambo reiterated that this action will help the nation be safe, saying that the direction is important, even as the representative of the Business Association, Patrick Chenge, said that training sessions should be organized to provide motivation to the community about proper ways of applying for visas.
The reason why we are here today is simply because we want to sensitize our communities on matters to do with PCV, preventing and countering violent extremism. And as you all know, in 2016, there was a national strategy for countering violent extremism which was developed and have been implemented for a longer period. It was supposed to last for 5 years. Then it was to be also reviewed to make it better.
Sio jamii, mara nyingi wamekuwa watu wakivaa mavazi fulani wanahusishwa na ugaidi. Lakini sasa tumeona ya kwamba ugaidi ni mtu binafsi na inasababishwa na mambo kadhaa. Kwanza umaskini, ama jinsi misingi ya watu kutoka nyuma, na mambo mengine. Jambo la pili tena, wameendelea kuimarisha. Utafiti umetuonyeshea kwamba jinsi mwafaka ya kuweza kupambana ama kuzuia
ugaidi. Sio Uislamu wala sio dhehebu fulani, bali ugaidi ni watu binafsi ambao kwamba ujiorganize, na haswa pia ugaidi unatokana na mambo ya ulevi au kuvuta bangi. Hasa hivi kundi ukutana wakafanya ile ugaidi. Ni kama vile Mungiki, sio wa Kikuyu, mbali ni watu binafsi. Kwa hivyo tumesema kwamba ugaidi sio Waislamu.
From the sports desk, Kenya will yet again play Zimbabwe, this time in the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifiers. This is after the Harambee Stars landed in the same group with 2 COSAFA Cup members, Namibia and Zimbabwe. Kenya will head into the competition with some knowledge of how the two countries play after participating in the COSAFA Cup by invitation. Kenya, which sent an under-23 team to the COSAFA Cup in South Africa, beat Zimbabwe 2-0 in the final Group B match of the tournament. The Harambee Stars will also play 5-time African Cup of Nations winners Cameroon in Group J of the qualifiers. Now, the Football Kenya Federation has set dates for the 2024 FKF Premier League promotion playoffs between Naivas and Sofapaka. The first leg will be played at the Police Circle Stadium on Saturday, July 6th, while the second leg will be staged at the Dandora Stadium on Sunday, July 14th. Both matches will last 90 minutes, with the winner on aggregate securing a slot in the 2024-25 FKF Premier League. If the aggregate score is tied after regular time in the second match, the team with the greater number of away goals will be declared the winner. However, if the teams are tied on both aggregate and away goals, the match will proceed to penalties. The winner of the shootout will secure a place in next season's top tier league.
Kwa bahati mbaya hatukuweza kupata automatic sport kwenda Premier League. Tuko na nafasi nyingine ya mwisho na kila kitu kusema ni mpango ya Mungu. Kwa hivyo kuna sababu kwa nini tunacheza hii game. Kwa hivyo mimi kwangu ni motivation kwa wachezaji wangu kucheza Sofapaka, timu ya Premier League. Ombi letu na kidogo kitafuta kucheza Premier League. Sasa hizi tunafanya kucheza timu ya Premier League, kucheza Premier League. Kwa hiyo ni motivation kwa wachezaji wangu. But naomba tu kitu moja, wakicheza vizuri niko sure watashinda. Wachezaji wangu wale muhimu sasa ni wana injury. Kuna wachezaji nimekosa wawili, striker wangu wanami, sitaweza kuwa naye. Kwa hiyo na maisha lazima nishughulike vile nitatafuta striker ule atacheza hiyo mechi. But kando na yeye wengine wako na uwezo wa kucheza. Juu pia walikuja hii team kucheza, au kuja kukosa kucheza. Kwa hivyo naweza sema pia nina pande ya wengine na quality waweza replace vizuri sana kumwakilisha kwa hiyo mechi ya Sofapaka.
Na tuna hope tutaendelea from where we left off against Nzoia, because pia tunajua Naivas is a good side na wako very motivated ku try kupanda ku get promoted to the Premier League, na pia sisi tuna try ku maintain status yetu ya Premier League, so inaweza kuwa itakuwa ni game ngumu, but tuko ready na tuko hopeful that tutawin hiyo game.
Now let's talk football, and the Kakamega Secondary School games are on, and our reporter Duncan Koba has all the details.
Musingo High School came from 2 goals behind to beat Kakamega High School 2-1 at Bungoma High School this afternoon. The Green Commandos were the first one to see the back of the net through attacker Ongendo Ibrahim as Musingo get back into the game from the goals of Sifuna Ian and Amalemba Harrison.
Mechi imeanza, tumeona kidogo timu zote mbili zinaanza
sikiliza ya tare kuna goli safi hapa. The Green Commandos of Kakamega wanapiga goli safi hapa, wakati ambapo nilikuwa nikizungumza kuhusu mechi imekwaje. Walianza kwa mashambulizi,
kila mmoja amejishika,
kila mtu achukue.
Aliyeshika Nokia ameshika, aliyeshika Samsung ameshika. Piga
kumekucha
Brendan Mwinam of Musingo and Hezbon Nyabinge of Kakamega High believes that their teams will do well in this year's competition, keeping in mind Musingo are the defending champions of the county championship.
Nataka nikuwe mshindi tena. Nimecheza ligi na vijana hapa wameenda Spain, wameenda China, wameenda wapi, goalkeeper ule Irad mshindi na wengine. So we have a group of boys who have traveled around the world. I can say in terms of experience and exposure, timu yetu iko juu. Iko na wachezaji wazuri na wako disciplined. Hata kama vitu niliona kidogo referee alikaa kama anatulalia, lakini mpira mchezo ulichezwa tu. So nitasema tu ni bidii, tunafocus kwa kila game at hand na tunasonga mbele.
Kutoka kitambo hata sisi tucheza Green Commandos kutoka kama Musingo na Kakamega High School ni kama Gor Mahia na FC. Hiyo ni kama derby. So ukiangalia fans kila mtu anajua timu yetu iwezi shindwa na timu yetu lazima ishinde. So maybe waliangalia wakaona maybe kutakuwa na fujo kidogo, but si mbaya. Wametuleta huku mapema kwa sababu regionals ziko huku, tuzoe huku mapema. Hiyo ndio kitu muhimu. Sisi tunashukuru kwa hizi timu zote mbili, but muhimu ni kufocus kwa the next game. Hiyo ndio hiyo ya Chebiusi na ni kesho asubuhi.
Kakamega High School Senior Principal Dr. Julius Mambili has stressed that if the rules of these games are followed, then this competition will be one of the entertaining sports as far as rivalry will not be witnessed.
Jambo ambalo linatatanisha kidogo, lakini kwa sababu tuelekezwa na wakubwa wetu tulikubali tucheze nje ya kaunti ya Kakamega, na tunashukuru ya kwamba wale ambao hawakuweza kufika wamekuwa wakitazama kwa mtandao, na ninataka kuahidi ya kwamba ngome ndio imeanza, mambo yamechacha, na tutaendelea kufanya lolote liwezekanalo tuhakikishe kwamba wanaenjoy mchezo wa football. Tuna matumaini ya kwamba vile nilivyosema hapo awali, wakifuata masharti na waelekezi wa coaches na team leaders, matumaini yapo makubwa, kwa sababu tumekuwa tunafanya mazoezi hata wakati huu tuko kwenye kambi kuanzia Jumatatu na kuelekea. Kwa hivyo huu ni mwanzo wa mambo tu. Tunaendelea kuongea na vijana na tunawapa matumaini, na wako bado na motisha ya kucheza vizuri.
Musingo's school head Bernard Lukuya says that the rivalry between the teams is something that has been there in decades, and that is what makes football sweet in Kakamega County, condemning hooliganism from some quarters of fans.
Ni vile kulikuwa na rivalry ya hizi shule mbili ilianza kabla hata mimi sijazaliwa. Mimi nikiingia kule Musingu mwaka 2018 nilipata historia ni kwamba kuna rivalry ya Musingu na Kakamega hasa kwa mchezo. Nilipoingia mchezo wa kandanda ulikuwa chini, kitu tumeweza kuguza na kufika kiwango ambao tuko. Kwa sababu ya hiyo usalama, ofisi ya elimu ilionelea kwamba hii mechi iweze kuchezewa nje ya county na tusikue na mashabiki. Na najua mashabiki wameona vibaya kwa sababu hawajakuja kuona timu yao, lakini natarajia kwamba siku ya Jumaa kwa kule Mumias watapata nafasi kuona vile timu inacheza.
A fanatic and one of sports enthusiast Nedi Ekitsuru has called on the organizers of this competition to set strategies that will control fans who seem to invade soccer pitches and attacking players, considering that these young talents are the one that makes the national team squad in future days.
Na hizi high school games zimekuwa very key, zimeplay a key role in feeding our national teams. Kwa sababu unapata most of the players who are talented, very young, who are ready to be nurtured, wanatoka katika hizi secondary school games ambazo tumeziona leo, ambazo bado tunaenda kuziona, na tunafurahi sana. Wale leaders ambao wanapanga hii maneno, wacha wape all the schools equal opportunities. Na hata unapoangalia leo kumekuwa na mchezo mzuri hapa, fans wengi ungepata wamepanda kwenye miti ili waone hii mchezo. Ningependa kuwa urge those leaders kwamba wasikazie mashabiki kuja kuona mpira, wacha walete mashabiki na wa put in measures za kuhakikisha kwamba mchezo imeenda vizuri, sababu I'm very sure wakileta hapa security waeke vizuri, mashabiki watatulia, wasipowasumbua na mechi itaendelea vizuri.
Dan Karkwoba, EBN Sports, Bungoma County.
And one of the best memories while in high school was the secondary school games, just because of how much fun they were, just to see young talents that is being spotted across the country. It is always one of the best things that can ever happen to a nation if they're spotted and well managed. So congratulations to the winners in the Kakamega County School Games, as well as the Musingu High School. So ladies and gentlemen, that is where I wrap it up tonight. Thank you for your wonderful company. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Have a blessed evening.